Howdy folks, welcome to Geek House Living on this quiet late April weekend where birds are chirping, folks are trying to get things done in the neighborhood, and I'm over here recording videos about shoes like a moron. What we have here is a pair of Avia Frontrunner so-called walking shoes, but the design is actually very similar to some cross trainers I've had over the years, like the New Balance 608 was one of my perennial favorites, but it's not the shoes that matter here, it's the concept. What we have here is a pair of $15 shoes, which is something I'm gonna have to get used to because shoes that inexpensive I'm still getting used to the whole idea that shoes can be that inexpensive to begin with. When I was growing up, you'd get a pair of shoes right before the school year started and you had to make them last because that's all that your folks could afford all year. So you basically, even after you stopped growing up, one pair of shoes per year, that was it, make them last, best of luck. So the idea of a $15 shoe of any sort is something that's gonna take some getting used to for me. So I picked these up from Walmart, although I have heard of the Avia brand before, and yes, it's Avia, not Avia. Looks like Avia, but if you actually dig around for commercials, it's Avia. I found an old Foot Locker commercial from the 80s with some old Avia basketball shoes. So, well, if it has changed to Avia in recent years, well, I'll play catch-up later. But this is basically what a $15 shoe is like. Now, Walmart has some brands-ish, like Dr. Scholl's, but the problem is the material on the bottom looks almost entirely plastic, not like proper shoe rubber of any sort. So, it's like Crocs plus. So, I at least want to have something resembling real material on the bottom. So what I did was, well, once I noticed that there was actually something resembling a real brand in here, I went and picked these up. So these are brand new, full stock. I've already removed the insoles, but I'm probably going to put them back in because, well, I don't really wear any shoes as they are anymore. I usually put in like some kind of odor eaters and then a sport insole on top of it to make them even more cushiony than they are full stock. So this is a pair that this pair over here is actually a pair of these that I picked up about 2 weeks ago. And of course, we put the same shoes side by side. We can see that roughly 2 weeks of wear and tear kind of flattens them a little and things like that. I used to wear Nikes and Reeboks growing up for those one pair per year school year shoes and whatnot, new shoes for school and things like that, but eventually as I grew up, I started getting like most folks in my family needing wide width shoes, so I eventually went to New Balance, some wide width Dr. Scholl's shoes in Walmart, and eventually just stuck with New Balance over the years. But now I found out that Nike and Reebok have some wide-width sneakers available. My sneakers, by the way, are always black. I keep quite conservative with shoe colors, so these weird 80s, neo-80s style colors and whatnot, no, I'm not really the kind of person to do stuff like that. It's interesting, though, because I'm looking around on Amazon, and actually this tread pattern with the round thing and the squiggles and the lines in all directions, and then this thing, it's almost a total knockoff of the Nike, the Air something or another, the Nike Air Monarchs. So that might actually be similar to a shoe that I used to wear back in the day. We'll compare those later, though. So here's what I'm doing. Because of the whole idea of a $15 shoe is something new to me, I want to see how long these last before I do anything with these, especially if I want to compare these to like a pair of Nikes or something like that. Over here, we have a pair of New Balance 576s, which represent the final pair of shoes from before I started getting back into sneakers in the first place. Oh, those treads have seen better days, let me tell you. It's also why I'm not a fan of shoes with shallow treads, because look what happens after you walk around in them. They become like bowling shoes plus until the last of the treads finally go away. So I tend to look for shoes with something deeper and multiple depths of treads, even if they're not the most comfortable and whatnot, like these, as well as the New Balance 608s. And maybe if I wanted to get a pair of Air Monarchs from Nike for 4 times the price, I might try that after I conclude this little experiment. This is not the first time that I've ever done an experiment with cheap shoes like this. When I first started messing around with Walmart shoes to try and wear them to work, I played around with $30 Dr. Scholl's shoes and usually destroyed them in like a month and a half to 3 months tops, whereas the real brand shoes would last a year before they ran out of tread. The thing is, though, my shoe situation has changed. I'm not really a sneaker person anymore. After I found out that work shoes held up a lot better under hard floors, concrete, the whole 9 yards, even if I wear soft toe shoes, I usually wear work shoes to work and then only bust out the sneakers on casual Fridays if I work in a place that doesn't require steel toes. So these have been the casual Friday shoes for quite some time, but I got them half price because I think it was either buy one get one free or something like that, but you could get a pair of cross trainers and get a pair of walking shoes thrown in on the side. So like, yeah, let's try them out. Got a few years out of them because, of course, I don't wear shoes like I used to. Shoes are kind of a different thing for me nowadays because I don't want to wear sneakers in work environments because most of the work environments I've been in the last several years will destroy sneakers, even name brand sneakers. I learned that lesson when I would get a year tops out of even name brand sneakers, but then now I'm wearing work shoes that actually last multiple years. So you figure, I used to pay like $60, $70 for a pair of sneakers that would be done in a year, versus $80, $90 for work shoes that can go 2 or 3, just with replacement insoles and other stuff along the way. But that would happen with sneakers too, now that I know about modding sneakers with custom insoles. Like, for example, the Dr. Scholl's Sport, one of my favorite insole of them all, and usually I'll prop them up a little more with some kind of odor eater knockoff or something like that. But that's basically what the story is with these. Now, as far as wearing them goes, with the ones that I've actually worn, they're pretty springy. I don't know if that's because I'm so used to work shoes that sneakers feel springy to me now, or if they're just a really springy shoe. But it just feels different. Maybe I've just gotten that used to work shoes. So that's what the big experiment's going to be. These Avias, now I'm screwing that up. These Avias are basically $15 shoes, a concept that I'm completely new to. Even the $30 Dr. Scholl's shoes of yesteryear took some getting used to. But I want to try these out and just see how quickly they fall to pieces. I will bust out the glue if I need to, but yeah, you see glue and stuff here. There's no stitching, so my dad would have been like, dude, don't get those. They're glued instead of stitched. As if you can't ever get replacement glue for these things and glue them back yourself. So like that. Oh boy. So that's my curiosity here. I have these if I want to compare them to real shoes. Oh, and of course, brand new shoe smell. Reminds me of trying them on in the store, and then sometimes I'd have to put them back in the box until day one of school. So I'd be out there breaking in some brand new shoes on day one. So just you think about the new school year. What am I going to do in terms of grades? How well am I going to do? How much fun is, stuff with my friends going to be? Things like that. Just so many fond memories of, the new shoe smell and stuff like that. I don't know. Folks, you can chime in on the comments if you have similar stories, but the experiment is underway. $15 shoes. Exactly how long can I make them last, even if I only wear them casually, versus the $60, $70 sneakers that I used to get? Or should I just give up and go back to real brands, even though these technically are real brands? One last thing. It is a Walmart SKU, though, so maybe there are some cut corners in here and stuff like that I'm going to find out as I continue this experiment. Or maybe I should put the work shoes off to the side and try wearing these every day. Nah, New world, whole new setup. And of course, I might actually get these versus some, Nike Monarchs or something like that and actually do a side-by-side comparison. One last thing before we call it with this little discussion, first impressions type video. Let's check those tread patterns. Recessed thingy with a logo, some squigglies, some horizontal treads, big round thing, recessed thing with a logo, some squigglies. Yeah, I definitely see a resemblance. Just a tad. So, in terms of how to proceed with these $15 shoes, I basically am going to take this approach. Here's what I've had in mind. First off, the experiment is with these, so I'm going to put the wear and tear on these, polish up these, wear these, leave these around for now to stay one ahead because the treads are just about gone on those. So these were real brand, and I've been casually wearing them since I got them because I never wore these as an everyday shoe. And basically, I got about 5 years out of them, 6 years out of them wearing them casually before they started running low on treads. They're still wearable, but not under conditions that are too adverse, and certainly not in the winter time. So I'm curious what these $15 ones can do in comparison, especially with some attempt at real treads on the bottom. So, also, if I want to try some of those Nike Monarchs that I was looking at earlier, I might just get those, wear those full stock, wear these full stock, and compare the two. But for now, in terms of just what I can get out of $15 shoes, these ones that I'm actually wearing, and here's what the rubber's down to after a couple of weeks, these ones that I'm actually wearing are basically, oh man, I should have washed them off before putting them on camera. But yeah, anyways, well, hey, at least you know they're worn. Yeah, so we'll try the wear and tear on these, keep these handy for any comparisons, or to stay one ahead in case these completely fall to pieces, and make a decision on what the heck to do, because I don't really wear sneakers a lot anymore. I mean, I don't wear them to work, don't wear them to more formal functions, it's mostly for, like, goofing around the house and stuff, and I have other shoes that I can wear for that too, like worn-out work shoes. So, who knows? If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Until next time, this has been Geek House Living. This is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by.